Hey, I got something! I got something! I got something! Take a look.
Oh! Wait a minute. Camera, come here.
What is that?
Is it? Please.
Oh my gosh.
The Boston treasure from the infamous book, The Secret, has finally been found, but you won't believe the insane details. It wasn't just a simple dig, it involved a last-minute email, a race against bulldozers, and a construction worker who had no clue he was holding a piece of history. For 40 years, this puzzle seemed impossible. But now, we know the truth. The secret wasn't just hidden in a park, it was connected to ancient Greek philosophers and the most famous midnight ride in American history. The genius and the gatekeeper. It all started with an email that landed in Josh Gates' inbox, an email that would have been easy to dismiss as just another fan theory. After all, for 40 years, thousands of people have claimed they'd cracked the code to Byron Price's The Secret. Back in 1982, Price masterminded one of the most brilliant armchair treasure hunts in history. He buried 12 ceramic boxes or casks in parks across North America. Inside each was a key that could be redeemed for a precious gemstone. The only clues were 12 cryptic paintings and 12 baffling verses in his book. It's a puzzle so tough that in over 4 decades, only 2 had ever been found. But this email was something else. It came from a man named Jason, a professional game and puzzle designer. It's funny when you think about it. If anyone was going to solve this, it'd be a guy who designs puzzles for a living.
I am a game and puzzle designer.
That's your job.
That's what I do.
So this is like right up your alley.
Yeah, perfect.
Jason wrote that he wasn't just close, he was certain he'd pinpointed the Boston treasure's location. He had been working on it for years, ever since his kids, who were big fans of Josh's show, Expedition Unknown, told him about the hunt. The first step in any secret hunt is matching a painting to a verse. Jason focused on the book's most famous image, the one on the cover, showing a woman with long flowing hair holding the cask. The clues screaming Boston were almost too obvious once you knew where to look. Hidden in the folds of her sleeve were the letters BOS. At the bottom right of the painting, a globe with a B around it was a dead ringer for the logo of the famous Boston Globe newspaper. But the clincher was on the box she held. Etched into its side was the unmistakable outline of Boston's iconic Trinity Church. This had to be the Boston painting. Next, Jason connected it to verse 3. The verse begins with a bizarre line. If Thucydides is north of Xenophon, these weren't just random names, they were ancient Greek philosophers. It's the kind of clue that sends most people down a completely wrong path. But Jason knew exactly where to look. The Boston Public Library.
If you look on this wall, there are the names of philosophers, historians, artists.
Carved in stone on the building's facade are the names of great thinkers throughout history. And right there, plain as day, was Thucydides, and just south of it, Xenophon. The verse was literally written in stone. This wasn't just a theory anymore, it was a concrete starting point. He had the painting and the verse, but the clues were just getting started. Written in the stars and statues. With the location narrowed down to Boston, the puzzle started pointing toward a very specific part of the city. Both the painting and the verse were filled with clues about Italian heritage, a huge part of Boston's history. It's wild how many layers Price built into this. In the painting, the woman is holding a gladiolus flower, which is known as an Italian flower. And the gem for this particular puzzle? A peridot, which is sometimes called an Italian stone. The hints were piling up, leading Jason away from the library and toward the city's famous Italian neighborhood, the North End. This is where things get really interesting. Jason found himself in Christopher Columbus Waterfront Park, named after the most famous Italian explorer of all time. It seemed like the perfect spot. And that's when he noticed the biggest clue of all, one that had been staring everyone in the face for 40 years. In the park, there's a statue of Christopher Columbus. When Jason looked at the face on the statue and then back at the woman in the painting, his jaw dropped. It was her. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, it was a perfect match. The mysterious woman on the cover of the book was a depiction of the Columbus statue. Price had hidden his biggest clue in the most public place imaginable. The verse continued, "Take 5 steps in the area of his direction." His direction had to mean the direction Columbus was facing. The statue looks north out toward Boston Harbor. But there was a problem. There were no steps to take. This is where Jason's puzzle-solving brain went into overdrive. He wasn't looking for literal stairs. When you look out at the harbor, you see a series of piers or wharfs. It's a bit of a stretch, but when you look at them on a map, they look just like steps leading out into the water. And you know what? There were 5 of them clustered together. This was it. Jason followed the 5 steps north, which took him right to the heart of Boston's Italian community in the North End. At the end of this path, he found exactly what he was looking for. Price's rule was that every cask was buried in a park, and right there, at the end of the 5 wharfs, was a park. He'd found the park, but a devastating surprise was waiting for him. Discovery or demolition. When Jason arrived at the spot his years of research had led him to, his heart sank. This wasn't the peaceful park he was expecting.
There was a park, and this is it.
This?
This.
It was a massive, chaotic construction site. The entire place, once known as Langone Park, was being completely torn up and remodeled. Baseball fields, playgrounds, everything was gone, replaced by mountains of dirt and heavy machinery. He was crestfallen. After all this work, he feared the treasure had either been dug up and thrown away by a clueless construction crew or was about to be buried forever under tons of new concrete. This was a nightmare scenario. But he didn't give up. He knew he was in the right place, so he snuck onto the site to see if the rest of the clues from the verse would fit. And get this, they lined up perfectly. The verse mentions a green tower of lights. For years, people thought this meant the Green Monster Wall at Fenway Park, a classic Boston landmark. But from Langone Park, if you look across the harbor, you see the massive Tobin Bridge, a towering structure painted a distinct rustic green and lit up at night. That had to be the Green Tower. The verse also said in the middle section. The park had been home to 3 baseball fields, and Jason was standing right where the middle one used to be. The next line was near those who passed the Coliseum with metal walls. Right next to the park was an ice skating rink, a circular building made almost entirely of metal walls, a modern-day Coliseum. Every piece was clicking into place with mind-boggling precision. The clues were so specific they couldn't be a coincidence. The final set of clues sealed the deal. Face the water, you're back to the stairs. Standing in the middle section and facing the harbor, Jason turned around and saw a huge granite staircase behind him. This was Copp's Hill Terrace, built in the 1890s. The stone-heavy design of the stairs even matched the rocky background in the painting. The last lines, 18th day, 12th hour, lit by lamplight, were a direct reference to Paul Revere's famous midnight ride on April 18, 1775. And here's the kicker. Paul Revere's house was located directly behind where those stairs are today. To begin his ride, he would have come right down through the area that became Langone Park. It all fit. The treasure had to be here. The only problem was it was buried under an active demolition zone. Needle in a haystack. With the location confirmed, the situation became desperate. Jason knew he couldn't dig up the entire park himself. He contacted Josh Gates, who brought his team to the site. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Just 2 days before they were set to do a full-scale search, Josh got a text message. "I think we found something." It was from one of the construction workers on the site. The excavator operator had been digging right where home plate of the middle baseball field used to be. His machine hit something strange. At first, he found a piece of plexiglass. Then he uncovered more fragments that looked like they were from the edge of a box. He knew this wasn't just typical construction debris. He started digging more carefully, and then he found it, a circular, hand-painted piece of ceramic.
Each of these casks had a hand-painted clock inside the lid.
It was the inside of the cask's lid, beautifully painted with a clock face. The hands were set to 8 o'clock, a reference to August the 8th month, whose birthstone is the peridot. This was 100% authentic. The Boston cask had been found. But there was a crucial piece still missing, the key. Without the key, the puzzle wasn't officially solved. The crew knew it had to be somewhere in the massive pile of dirt the excavator had already dug up. It was a true needle in a haystack situation. The team, along with Jason and Josh, began the painstaking process of sifting through hundreds of pounds of dirt. It was grueling work. As they searched, a crowd of other secret treasure hunters started to gather outside the construction fence, having heard the rumors. The pressure was on. After a long and muddy search, there was a shout. Josh had found something. It was a small, ornate piece of ceramic. It was the handle of the key. It had snapped off, but it was unmistakably the prize. A few moments later, another searcher found the rest of the key in the same pile of dirt. They had the whole thing. After 40 years buried just a few feet underground, the Boston key was finally seeing the light of day. Jason had done it. His solution was perfect. The find was historic, but the journey wasn't quite over yet. 9 to go. The discovery of the key was a monumental moment. It was only the third key to be found out of the original 12 in over 4 decades. The moment was made even more special when Josh and Jason presented their find to the family of Byron Price, who had sadly passed away years earlier. His wife, Sandy, and his daughters, Blair and Kara, were the keepers of his legacy. In a heartfelt meeting, Jason handed over the 2 pieces of the recovered key. To honor the solution, Price's family presented Jason with the prize, a beautiful, shimmering peridot gemstone. It was the culmination of years of dedication, a 40-year-old promise finally fulfilled. For Jason, it was never about the monetary value of the gem. It was about the thrill of the hunt and the satisfaction of solving one of the world's most intricate puzzles. It's a pretty amazing thought that a puzzle created in the 80s could bring so many people together 40 years later. But what does a find like this really mean for everyone else? Does it take being a professional puzzle designer to solve these things? Or was there a lot of luck involved? It's funny, the construction crew could have so easily thrown those ceramic shards away. If Jason had waited just a few more weeks, the entire site would have been paved over and the treasure would have been lost for good. It makes you wonder, are we all just missing tiny details in our own backyards? How many people walked their dogs or played baseball in Langone Park right on top of that spot without ever knowing what was beneath their feet? The thing is, this discovery proves the puzzles are solvable. They require a unique way of looking at the world, of connecting history, art, and geography. But it can be done. With Boston solved, there are still 9 keys out there, buried somewhere in North America, waiting for someone with the right mix of cleverness, persistence, and maybe just a little bit of luck to uncover them. With 9 treasures still undiscovered, is the secret a true test of intellect or just a 40-year-old lottery ticket? Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.